Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Good evening.
Hello,
Good
everyone.
evening, good morning,
Hello.
good afternoon. Everyone around the world, welcome. We're so excited that you're here joining us today. Thank you for making time in your day. We're giving just a moment for people to join. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Make yourself comfortable, settle in, mute your microphone, fix your camera the way you want it, fix your screen. We recommend you put it on speaker mode so you'll be able to see each presenter. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. How are you? Nina, it's so good to see you.
Hello. I'm glad to see you.
Hi. Welcome. This is a reunion for all of us and for all of our new friends joining. Welcome. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Please take a moment in the chat to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening in any language you like. Feel free to introduce yourself, where you are, what institution you're with. Get a sense of who's in the room. If you're a high school teacher, secondary school teacher, or a university professor, feel free to introduce yourself. Welcome.
Я зараз передзвоню.
Terrific. Welcome. Hi, Alexandra. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Natalia. So good to see you.
Great.
Welcome.
Happy to see you. Hello. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Please drop a note in the chat to let people know where you're joining from, who you are. We're very excited to have you here. Please settle in, mute your microphone, set your camera to a comfortable mode for you. And I'm going to get started then. So welcome. We are absolutely thrilled to be starting this webinar series. This is the Holistic Language Pedagogies, Ways Forward in English Language Teaching and Learning webinar series. This is a series that has been in formation for more than a year. And I say that because it's growing out of a project that has been ongoing over the past year, that has been hosted by Childhood Education International and facilitated by Childhood Education International, and has been funded and supported by the US Department of State and the Regional English Language Office for Ukraine. And we'll tell you more about the project in a minute, but I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us for this kickoff event in this webinar series. We have been working and learning and growing together as an English language teaching and faculty program. We are committed to ensuring that every teacher in our teacher preparation programs and in our schools is prepared to support students as they both learn English and take care of themselves and their well-being. Because we've been working in Ukraine, we know that attending to social and emotional learning is so important, and that applying holistic language pedagogies is so important for each of our learners to succeed and grow in really difficult times. This project has had so many partners, we can't even list them all, but we need to give a special thanks to Dr. Laura Becker, who many on this call will know, who has been a champion of our learning all year and has created so many beautiful learning opportunities for us through her affiliation at Hunter College and with the University of New York system, through her affiliation with TESOL and IA TEFL, who have opened their arms and welcomed us into their work and their community, through all the presentations of so many faculty in the spring who supported us, through exchanges to New York and virtual exchanges to learn and grow together. This faculty has been on a tremendous journey, and this webinar series is the culmination of this journey and a way for them to share what they know and what they've learned and what they've experienced with you. So with no further ado, I'd like to turn the microphone over to my amazing colleague, Alyona, from the Regional English Language Office to say a few words about what they do, who they are, and how this project came to be. Alyona?
Okay, thank you, Julie. Greetings, everyone. I'm Alyona Sukhinina, and on behalf of the US Embassy in Kyiv, Ukraine, and Regional English Language Office, that I represent. I would like to greet everyone who joined us today and say also several words about our office and the project. So the Regional English Language Office for Ukraine, Moldova, Romania, Hungary, and Poland support English teaching and American Studies program in the region, and we conduct a wide variety of activities related to training, methodology, specialists, and materials. And we also support the participation of scholars and teachers in professional US studies and English teaching programs abroad. And today's webinar, series of webinar, is a product of our latest program called Professional Development and Exchange for Educators of Pre-Service English Language Teachers in Ukraine. And as Julie already mentioned, but I'll just like enhance maybe that through this project, and through this partnership between the US Embassy in Kyiv and the Center for Professional Learning team at Childhood Education International, we supported the professional learning of the 30 amazing English language teaching faculty members that work with pre-service teacher development programs across Ukraine. So this project went through online virtual community of practice, through discussions, activities, online workshops with leaders in the TESOL field, and of course, a New York City travel exchange. So for 4 months, the participants studied like foundational concepts in social and emotional learning and trauma-informed practice. And so they were able to meet TESOL professionals from across the United States and like exchange ideas on language teaching methodologies, technology in the EFL classroom, professional network and knowledge sharing, and like much more. And part of this project included expansion of participants' professional network and increased collaboration across teacher preparation programs in Ukraine. And so this collaboration between the participants resulted in the series of webinars on holistic language pedagogies that they prepared for the bigger audience of global colleagues. And so today we will be able to attend the first webinar on using technology and holistic learning in the ELT. And just before we start, I just would like to say thank you to our partners from Childhood Education and to the former Regional English Language Officer Lottie Baker, who contributed a lot to the success of this project. And without further ado, thank you all the viewers for joining us today, and happy viewing, and good luck to our presenters. Thank you.
Alyona, thank you for that warm and generous and kind welcome, and for the context of the project. And thank you for all of your tireless work through the most challenging of circumstances to support this project, these faculty members, and all of the many other teachers and educators you work with. Our gratitude and thanks to Lottie Baker as well. Thank you for the shout out to her, and our warm welcome to Jen, who's joining the team now. I'd like to now turn the mic over to my dear colleague, Diana Garcia, who is our Chief Programs Officer at Childhood Education International, who will share a little bit about our organization and how we got involved in this project and what our commitments are to teaching and learning, to education and displacement, and so on. Diana, the mic is yours. Thank you so much for being here with us today as well.
Thank you, Julie. And I am so pleased to be here this morning. And on behalf of Childhood Education International, I want to send a warm thank you, heartfelt thank you to all of you for the work that you've been doing for the last year. It's been incredible. It's been a wonderful journey. It's been hard. It's been challenging, but you've done it, and you've done an amazing job. I've seen the reports, the stories that Julie has shared with us, all the challenges and successes that you've been experiencing. And we are just so happy to be here with you, to be hosting you. And I also want to thank Aliona and the U.S. Embassy for the support in getting us this project granted so that we can work and collaborate and co-create with the faculty and the teachers, which has been an amazing experience. Childhood Education International is an international development organization that focuses on developing and amplifying solutions that lead to positive change in pre-primary and primary age children's learning and lives. And for over a century, we have been changing children's lives for the better, particularly paying attention to the most vulnerable children and populations living in challenging circumstances. And this project has allowed us to do some of that work in a region that really deserves attention and the work of all of you. So I just want to say thank you again for providing us with this opportunity and for helping us co-create with you and collaborate with you in this very important project. So thank you, Julie, and thank you, everybody. It is a pleasure to see you all today.
Diana, thank you so much. And many thanks to Diane Whitehead and to Jonathan Apikian, who do all of the incredible leadership work that makes these sorts of projects possible. And a huge thank you, everyone on this call. Many on this call will know Alyssa and Meg, my close team in the Center for Professional Learning. Thank you for all of your support and hard work this year. And thank you for being here to learn and grow with us today. So with no further ado, because we're all excited to get into the learning now, let's take a look at where we are today. This is the first in a series of webinars, as you know. Today's agenda is going to include 4 20-minute presentations on amazing, super interesting topics related to technology and holistic learning in English language teaching. It is going to be a packed agenda. Each of these 20 minutes is going to be full of ideas and resources and strategies and tips. So have your pen and your notebook ready. I'm giving you 20 seconds here to get yourself organized because there's going to be so much sharing. We will share the PowerPoints and the recording with you after. And for those of you who are interested in certificates, we'll be sending certificates of participation. For those who stay for the webinar, next week, we'll be sending those out. So you'll get follow-up emails and you'll have the resources at your fingertips to refer back to. But do have your pen and notebook ready because we're going to start with making EFL, English as a Foreign Language, interactive in an online classroom. I'm so excited to introduce my colleague Tetiana, who is going to share with you her knowledge, her experience, her creativity. I'm not going to read her affiliation, but I'm going to leave it here on the screen for a moment, just so you can absorb the full weight of her expertise and her leadership and her brilliance. Tetiana is a bright and shining star in our community, and I'm so excited now to turn the screen over to Tetiana to share with us and make EFL interactive. Thank you, Tetiana.
Hello, dear friends. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today with you. And it's very important for us to share our experience, to demonstrate, to demonstrate what we have achieved and to hear you, to listen to your suggestions and advice. And of course, at first, I'd like to express our deep gratitude to the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, Regional English Language Office, Department of State of the United States of America, Childhood Education International, Hunter College of the City University of New York, Center for Professional Learning, English Language Programs, and of course our inspirers and motivators, Julie Kasper, Laura Becker, Meg Riley, and Alisa Vereshagin, for giving us, the Ukrainian educators, a great opportunity for continuing professional development. And during this project, we have developed our professional connections, have enhanced our planning and delivering English classes in new, more creative and constructive ways. We've got a membership and involvement with professional organizations such as TESOL, US TESOL, TEFL, and of course this project boosted our identifying and achieving professional goals, as well as improved our English, contributed to the development of our hard and soft skills, so necessary for any educator. And of course, I have decided to share my experience of making my online classes interactive. These pictures, I used them already in my report, and that was during the pandemic. I didn't know that ahead we're having even more difficult times. But at the very beginning of the pandemic, that was so depressing to stay always online. And these pictures are taken from that time. And I wanted to ask you, I won't switch my presentation. I will ask you to write in our chat which emotions, what were your emotions when you were teaching in online? And I could see that there are some students. What were your emotions when you were learning in online classes? So can you share your emotions? That not to switch off the presentation, I usually use Answer Garden or Mentimeter for that, but I'm not sure that I will be quick enough. Internet connection is not so good. So can you write in the chat to see us? Yeah, there are struggled, stressful, challenge, anxious. Yeah. Yeah, embarrassed, scared, thrilled, confused. So desperate. Of course, there are a lot of negative emotions which we were feeling at the very beginning. But then we found some ways how to handle with that, and even how to make our online classes interactive. So at the very beginning of my classes, I often use Answer Garden, and we create word clouds, and we can see all those words not in the chat, but in the word cloud. And it's a very good thing to start any topic with keywords and to get to know which of the words do we associate any phenomena or any event with. And it's a good start for giving students some prompts. And of course, I also usually take part in creating that word cloud to help students to see basic concepts of any topic. So there are a lot of word cloud tools, of course, not just word cloud generators, but they can be mixed with images. They can focus on word placement. There are special word clouds which are more artistic and of course with some more specifics. I usually try to find something interesting for my students, as once I came across Thomas Friedman's quote that PQ and CQ are greater than the IQ. So persistence quotient and curiosity quotient are better indicators of success than the more familiar intelligence quotient. So that's what makes our students learn better, feel motivated, not to feel all those emotions we mentioned in our chat. And of course, for the teacher, it's rather a difficult task sometimes to find such activities which can motivate students and which can help us take into account their individual peculiarities. But it's very important to remember that our class should be flexible and friendly to each student. And in such a case, if we are flexible enough, we give students the freedom of choice. That can be expressed in different ways. Here I gave just some examples. So it's time for preparation, output of an activity, so what way to present something, what way of interaction they choose, maybe which channels, because we usually use breakout rooms if we work in Zoom, but sometimes students like other alternative ways, so they have their own messengers, and from time to time they ask if they can, and usually it's just up to them to choose some ways of their learning. So of course we have such an opportunity in such a case to give them to make them feel being responsible for their own learning. And of course, we should address their feelings, emotions, and help and support them. And our meetings within the project were always so comfortable, and breathing exercises, some funny stories, smiles, that's images, they all help us feel better, and even well, they help us stay balanced, well balanced in this difficult, in such difficult circumstances. So I would like to share the experience of using virtual boards. My students like them very much. I cannot say that I used all of these boards. My favorites are Jamboard and Padlet. I will demonstrate you how I used Padlet now, but I know that next year Jamboard will stop its existence. I've got the message from Google, but we will get something new instead, and you know that it's always so exciting to find new ways for your improvement of our pedagogical skills. So here you can see just one screenshot from my Padlet. So that was used last academic year, not this year. So students tried to create the metaphor of their learning or teaching, because some of our students are they combine learning, they're being student, and they start teaching during their students while studying at the university. So they could use any images from the internet. They could try to paint, to draw that, and then they presented those metaphors. They explained everything, what that symbolized. And I would like to demonstrate this picture that was too on the Jamboard in the previous slide, but it was a little bit lower. So Irina Martic drew this picture, and she explained all the details, how it is difficult to learn, but that the big wonderful world is waiting for her, and so on. So besides of artistic work, they communicated, they discussed each other's works, and they asked questions. You can see that looking at such a picture, you always want to ask something and to comment on this work. So that's a very good way of making classes interactive. Besides of that kind of work, it's good to use pictures which can boost students' imagination, and looking at such a picture, you will always ask some questions. And of course, here, while using these pictures, I usually ask students to create such questions which can help to develop higher order thinking skills, to evaluate that, to analyze this picture, and of course then we can even use storytelling techniques to describe this picture, to imagine some unbelievable stories, and so on. I like using such pictures as this one, which describes, for example, the as it is called, digital divide. I think that you have heard that people who were born before 1980s, they are digital immigrants, and those who were born after 1980, they are digital natives, that it's easy for them to use information and communication technologies. And you see here that the boy doesn't understand that it is just chalkboard. He looks for the icons to click, but it's a very good picture to make students remember their own personal experience of getting to know something unknown, and so on. So they can cause curiosity and make students willing to share their own personal experience. So we can also use jigsaw reading or any jigsaw type of learning for making students communicate. So the technique is built in such a way that students get different texts, and then they in groups share that information, and they get the consolidated picture of the whole topic. So it's very simplified explanation, but I think that you can find a lot of advices on using jigsaw reading and other kinds of techniques. So I also like to use such post-reading task, which can help to organize communication and work in groups. So the students read the text together in a group, and they find points that caught their attention, that made them think. Then they choose keywords or key phrases, find the most expressive, the brightest quotation. They have to formulate conclusion and short summary of the text. And I also use live library, and my acquaintance with this technique was in offline mode, but I learned to use it in Zoom. I use breakout rooms, and books are coming from one room to another to visit their readers. So you can see the procedure of book crossing, and students listen to those live books. So people who can tell something interesting. When I used that with students, I invited students of the third or fourth year to be live books for those students from the first or second year. So, and of course, reviewing and feedback are very important here to share impressions and to give some advices. So debates and discussions are also a great way of organizing communication in our online class. And I would like to recommend you Kialo Edu. It helps students to learn argumenting, giving reasons, then of course reading attentively, and the ability to give responses. Speaking corners is also a very good activity when students get some provocative statements, and they have to go to the breakout room, which is called agree, disagree, or not sure. And there then they work in groups, in pairs, how many people there are there. And then they present the group's opinion on the reasons why they agreed or disagreed, or what confused them in that statement. So blogging is also a very good thing in making our classes interactive, but I'm only just starting this type of work, and I don't have a very big experience of that, but I understand that it's very good, has very good opportunity for making our classroom more interactive. I also use such resource as Utopia.io. It's an alternative to the Zoom, where students are in the way they are such small people, they can go to any location, gather together, and then they communicate. It's something like a breakout room, and when you get this account, you can design your space. So there's a space for teachers' creativity too. Outspace VR is very good technology, but it requires a lot of how to say that, very good internet connection, very good laptop, and it should be created, your account should be created on the Microsoft, how to say that, when you have the mailbox in Outlook. So to make it work properly. So you can create on Google Chrome, but that doesn't work so good as in other. And it's a good way for students to get into virtual reality. You can share any presentations there. Your students can explore the spaces, transfer from one space to another. That's very interesting, but that requires a special training.
Tetiana, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm 1 minute to wrap up,
okay.
And then I think there are some questions coming in the chat that I want to open up for. Thank you.
Okay, I will end in 1 minute. Okay, so that's one from returning from any event and from any project. I always find new ideas for making my classes interactive. That was one of my recent ones, was participating in Nobel Prize Teacher Summit, and there I learned how to use the acquaintance with Nobel laureates for making my classes interactive. You can find that on the site of Nobel Prize Museum. And I'm sorry. And so it's just important to remember that you have to understand what motivates your learners, make your class inclusive, treat the learners as equals, no priority to someone, know your learners' learning styles, lesson plan flexible, personalize your learning and teaching, explain what you are doing and why. Of course, call your learners by their names, praise, smile, joke, of course, without teasing, and pay attention to reflection and feedback. So thank you so much, dear friends. So if you want to know more about some techniques or something from professional activity, you can write me, and that's all. Well, thank you so much.
Tetiana, thank you. That was a treasure trove. I have a bunch of notes and I have follow-up questions for you, which I'll ask later because I want to make time for others to ask. There was a question in the chat about your favorite word cloud tool because you listed a bunch of them. And I want to invite the audience to add any other questions relevant to the presentation that we can address right now. So yeah, which is your favorite word cloud tool, Tetiana?
My favorite word cloud is Mentimeter and Answer Garden. Answer Garden is the simplest version and I like to use it.
Wonderful, thank you. I haven't used Answer Garden, so I'm excited to try it. And there was also a question around the libraries or a comment around the live libraries. And I was wondering if you could say a little more. Is it your students who are reading aloud and other students are moving from breakout room to listen? Could you just explain briefly the process?
There are four, I usually choose 4 students who can be live libraries. They are telling something interesting on some interesting topic, and all the rest of students are readers. They listen and then they ask questions, comment, and after the end of this, when they have read all 4 books, we have something like a small plenary, so discussion, reflection, something like that.
That sounds fabulous. I love that. There's a lot of thank you and gratitude in the box. If you want to put your email in the box, Tetiana, if you're comfortable, people may follow up with additional questions. But you've given us so much to think about, so many tools to play with, and it's just really important that we all are staying abreast of these new technologies. So thank you for bringing some new tools to our table and to our group. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to move forward in our online learning now and consider how to design discussions. So this is building a little bit on those live libraries in a way, how to design discussion forums and e-activities for asynchronous classes. So Tetiana was giving us a lot of tools and ideas for when we're together in time and space on Zoom or Google Hangout. And Viktoriia is going to help us think about the asynchronous space. She's going to share her experience of teaching English to pre-service teachers. Viktoriia, welcome. We're so excited for you to be here today, for you to be bringing your expertise and all of your knowledge and experience. I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
So, hello, everyone. So it's a great honor to be here, to be learning with you and from you. And so Tetiana has given us a variety of tools, resources, and so I will speak on something very concrete, and I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. And I will speak on the things that I do on regular basis in my synchronous classes and particularly in my asynchronous classes. First, I will start with my teaching context, and I will introduce some ways to create interaction in asynchronous EFL online learning, give some guidelines for designing discussion forums and activities and samples on our learning platform of the university, that is Moodle. Then I will proceed to some conclusion and reference. I'm teaching English, general English at Nizhny Novgorod State University, and also methodology to pre-service English foreign language teachers. And in our context, that always equals to English foreign language learners, because our pre-service English as a foreign language teachers, they are never native speakers of English. And we are to teach them both English and methodology. I teach at the time of crisis caused by pandemic and by the war, and that's why my teaching environment is very various. It can be only online, and that when we started in 2019, left to our own devices, trying to survive and find some ways to conduct online classes. but I can say now from my experience that it's an acquired taste. The more you learn online, the more you love learning and teaching online. Now I am teaching face-to-face, but the official mode of teaching is blended because we have some kind of temporary displaced students in the United States, Germany, and other countries who are up in the air. So they haven't decided yet whether they want to return back to Ukraine, whether they want to continue, but they are still students of our university, and we are to cater for their needs as well. Needs must, and what I need to provide, that is quality curriculum delivery, inclusive education, keeping in mind so that students and teachers are suffering from toxic stress, chronic trauma caused by the war, and those silver bullets to cope with the situation, to rise to the challenges, social emotional learning, psychological support. And the only way I see to face all this is continuous professional development. That's why I'm here and now learning together with you. As I'm teacher methodology on the one hand, on the other hand, so I teach English. I can teach what I preach and I preach what I teach. And some of the things I take for granted, that the absence of interaction, particularly between learners and other learners, can create feeling of isolation. And students can become disenchanted with online education. Online distance education should be as interactive, as collaborative as the face-to-face one. That's why I look for new opportunities to create interactive environments for my students. And some of them are using their learning system. And in our case, that is Moodle. Some other universities can use Canvas. So that is video conferences in my context that sometimes my classes are moved to Zoom. I use lots of online tools. My favorites are Flipgrid, Google Apps, Truecider, discussion forums, and Padlet, as Tetiana has already mentioned today. So, I have said that this year we are studying offline, but some students continue studying online. That's why each course I teach has a page on Moodle. And the academic year started on the 4th of September. And for the 4th of September, my students got a task assignment for lesson 1. And there was an optional one. That was forum where they could represent themselves using Voki. If we have a look at what they posted, you see that the first Voki was presented by me. I always give them a sample to follow. And so some other students also posted their Vokis. And there were several replies there, so that created interaction before even we started working in the classroom. So interaction is a very important thing, and we can see that there are 3 main types. That is, students interact with the content, the instructor, and with each other. The challenge and the difference between online and face-to-face learning is the absence and sometimes the lack of interaction that is between learners and other learners, particularly if you speak about asynchronous classes. That's why I use discussion forums because they provide me as an instructor numerous possibilities for motivating my students. They make them interact and engage them with each other and the course content which I offer. They are also a tool to present interactive activities. That is the short form of online activities or electronic activities. So which aim at accuracy and fluency, and which also provide the integration of for English as a foreign language skills. activities. So this term was first introduced by Gilly Salmon in 2002. They involve students' interaction with other course members, group members, and the teacher in online communication and environment. And in my case, that is Moodle forum, to complete a certain task. This is an example taken from the methodology course. The students were asked to create their own projects in their learning environment. Then they were also suggested commenting, so whether they would like to do this project, why not. And as usual, so a sample was given by me, and I have a library over some best practices provided by previous students, and that's why I can always choose something to show them how it should be presented, what they're to include. And as for the number of replies, you can see that there were some which just had a lot of replies and responses, and even some of them were introduced in their learning context, and because they were approved by the teacher of general English. So here we have some guidelines for designing discussion forums, and I would like you to take a minute, use your annotation tool, and underline the keywords in these guidelines. For example, if we take the first one, that will be clear guidelines for posting requirements that are very important, and the rules of etiquette that the teacher should mention in their while designing discussion forums. Now the floor is yours. Don't be shy. Underline the keywords in the following guidelines. So thank you for some volunteers. Good. Grading component is extremely important. If students understand that the forum is not graded, then that doesn't boost their willingness to share. Okay. So that's where we shall stop. Just a second. Let me close it. Just a second. You can see their keywords, and some of them are highlighted. So why? Continuous professional development is a part of my life, and now I'm taking a course thanks to the US Embassy, the massive online course, and I do a lot of home assignments, and some of them are discussion forums. What I, as a student, look for, so when I get in your assignment, for sure, these are clear guidelines for posting requirements. What to post, how often to post, very important and very helpful. This is modeling to demonstrate the desired format and style, not to keep the students on their toes, not to make them jump through their hoops. And something that is very helpful too, that is a rubric outlining what to include in the posts. And I'm always looking forward, and I'm looking forward to the feedback from the moderator as for the things I submit. So there is here is a sample discussion forum on Moodle. The topic was choosing a career. I posted the topic, the purpose, the instructions, step-by-step instructions, and the grading criteria, what they can get, and what criteria to meet. That was general English course. Here is an example from the grammar course. That is the sample discussion forum, grammar expert forum. Also date, purpose, instructions, model, which is always very important, and the grading criteria. Now this is our first mastery check. I hope that you have been very attentive, and now you can write in the chat. So what to fill in the gaps with. You have not many options: discussion forum or activity. So what do you suggest? Please write in the chat 1, and from your point of view, what comes in gap 1, 2, and what is sure to fit 3 and 4. The variants are discussion forum or activities, electronic or online activities. Looking forward to your answers. Okay, Julie. So thank you for being the first. So number 1 forum, number 1 discussion forum, definitely. So number 2 activities. So thank you. You are right. Number 3. Yep. So that is activities. And number 4. So I'm looking forward to their 4th choice. Moodle. What do we have on Moodle, I wonder?
Forum.
Okay.
Moodle forum.
Exactly so. So that's it. So thank you. So I have heard some voices from active Moodlers, perhaps. So that's it. Exactly. Discussion forum is the tool to present interactive activities aiming accuracy and fluency practice. Activities involve students' interaction with the other group course members and the moderator. And so for that, I use to present the activities, I use Moodle discussion forum because it's the official learning platform of my university. Here we go. I was thinking how to present metaphorically the relations between discussion forums and activities. For sure, it's some kind of unity. And as I am chocoholic, the first thing, the first metaphor picture that came to my mind, so was a box with sweets in a very beautiful wrapping. I think that sweets, so these are activities, and the wrapping, so this is the tool, and presenting the discussion forum, but they can be different. Shape, flavor, ingredients, sometimes they are sour, so, and they have different purposes. Do you remember these ones? If you want to wake your students up, you are sure to use some kind of mint rings. The term activity, electronic or online activity, was created and invented by Gilles Salmon. It's a framework to facilitate active learning online. And just a second. The main features, so all activities they are based on interaction between students and their active contribution. They take place asynchronously. They can be presented in a blended mode or online only. They provide
out of the boxes.
purposeful, structured group or pair work online. They aim at accuracy and fluency practice, and they also provide the integration of OEFL skills. So if the teacher creates them in such a way. There are 3 stages of designing activities. The first one is the teacher presents the spark. The spark can be a small piece of information. It can be some stimulus or challenge. The second stage involves students taking part in this online activity, responding to the spark, providing individual response, and commenting on what presented by the other course members. And the last, but not the least, is a summary feedback given by their teacher or by the students themselves. Very important is the instructional message for a student, and every activity should be presented in such a form as the purpose of the activity, if the activity is assessed, so what students are to do, how long it should take in minutes and hours, how the students work together, and here are some examples. So example from general English, the most impressive journey holder they have heard. I used a listening text, so what a journey as a sparkle, and some other tasks were designed. One more sample comes from the grammar courses, the sample activity 2, speculations on the final tests, where the examples were also given, and that was some kind of preparation for the final test in grammar. So here are some conclusions. Online education is sure to grow in higher education in Ukraine, and it is essential for instructors to help students to be a success in online asynchronous lessons. A discussion forum, so that is a specific tool to present activities, can generate an interactive learning environment for the students. However, that is not the only way to develop and engage in learning community. And Tetiana has already proven so this conclusion. Here are some articles and resources which you can use if you want to continue researching this topic. And so